Seven Thumps, a fleeting word story.
A crash comes from the living room and my eyes shoot open again. Damn it, I was almost asleep. I force myself to stay in bed, to not get up and see what damage my fiancé's stupid cat has done. Silently cursing the fuzzy little terror, I close my eyes again. It's gonna be a long day tomorrow. I have to sleep. Forcing myself to relax is difficult. So many things are racing through my brain about tomorrow. I hope he remembers to pick up the tuxes by 10. What if I accidentally gave the caterer the wrong address? What if sleeping on my back to avoid pillow face just makes my hair flat? What if... I'm startled out of my thoughts by the rattling of the ducts. The old monster of a heater takes its time warming up, the fan spinning and thumping drunkenly for a few seconds until it finally really gets going. Dustin always jokes that it shakes so bad because it's shivering. From the cold, it can't seem to keep at bay. We'll need to replace it. After the honeymoon, maybe. Thinking of Dustin, stable, warm, calm, would never forget the tux's Dustin, calms me. He can handle it. The customary 7 thumps, and the duct quiets again as the vent under our bed starts sighing, oozing mildly warm air up through the small open space between the bed and the wall. I try to just breathe and force myself to relax. It's almost 3 a.m. I really have to get some sleep. Another crash comes from beyond the thin wooden door to our room. "Damn it, Oscar, knock it off!" I holler. This one sounded closer to the hallway. My thoughts race through everything I have stacked up and ready to be transported to the church tomorrow, even as part of me is yelling at myself to stay in bed. Thoughts of my sister's puffy-faced wedding photos eventually win over my urge to find the spray bottle and take care of Dustin's damn cat. I turn over onto my side, pillow crease faced be damned. I have to get some sleep. I have to. But was anything in the hallway breakable? No, Dustin made sure he packed everything safely away yesterday. I tell myself it's okay, and my thoughts start to settle. The heater turns off again with one last loud thump from the ducts, and the room is swimming in the silence of our old house. I suddenly wish we hadn't decided to spend our last night before the wedding apart. I feel the empty spot on his side of the bed keenly as my breathing starts to slow. My mind grows hazy and comfortable, and I'm starting to half-dream about my perfect wedding photos with my perfectly unpuffy face. This time the thump that startles me awake is actually many little thumps, as I hear his cat run down the hallway and slide into the door. The noise is loud to my near-sleep mind, like he was much bigger than his little 12 pounds, and my heart starts racing. I make a frustrated noise and try to cover my head with the pillow. When the frantic scratching at the door begins, I finally feel like I'm gonna lose it. I prop myself on one elbow to throw my pillow at the door. Oscar's white form is surprisingly easy to make out in the dark, sitting straight up at the end of the bed on Dustin's side. He turns big eyes to me for just a second as I sit up, but swiftly goes right back to staring at the door. I search my foggy brain, barely remembering him dashing in just as I shut the door, and being too busy running through the wedding itinerary in my head to care. He's been in here, in the room with me, for hours. I don't move. Oscar and I both stare at the door, and neither of us seems to know what to do. I feel the blood rush to my head as my urge to get out of bed and investigate wars with my desire to hide under the covers. Finally, as slowly as I can, I push myself up to a sitting position, feeling every muscle contract and ligament stretch as I try to move without making a sound. But the bed springs still rasp out a groan, and I freeze, hoping that it wasn't as loud as it seemed. The scratching at my door stops. Everything is silent for 1 heartbeat, 2, and then it starts again. Frantic at first, and then gradually slowing to long, rasping scrapes over the wood grain. Oscar hisses, burying his tiny fangs, and begins backing up across the bed. I find myself doing the same thing before I realize it, backing into the corner formed by my headboard and the wall, feeling an inch or so of cold air hit the skin on my rear as I balance over the small open space between the mattress and the wall. Each long, slow scratch sends goosebumps up my spine that have nothing to do with the cold air on my exposed skin. Oscar bumps up against my leg and I pick him up, bringing him to my chest. My phone is on the dresser across the room. It's awfully close to the door, though. I look toward the window but dismiss it. It's been stuck shut since we bought the place, and I don't have anything heavy enough to break the glass. If I try and hide in the closet, I'll be trapped. My phone is the best option, but I can't make myself move. Every fiber of my being is screaming not to get closer to that sound. The scratching stops. The blood pounds in my ears. Otherwise, everything is silent. Oscar stops hissing but continues staring at the door. The absence of sound is almost worse than the scratching. I strain to hear something, anything, but part of me knows that the hallway is empty. I let the cat go and he slinks across the bed towards the door slowly, stalking nothing that I can see. The ducks start thumping again, and I can't help but let out a startled whimper. I need it to be quiet so I can listen to hear if it, whatever it is, comes back. I wait impatiently as the usual 7 thumps come and go. 7 thumps, 8, 9. The air doesn't start blowing, but the thudding in the ducts continues. The cat turns toward me and hisses. My head spins and my exposed skin flushes hot in the chill air as I realize that the banging in the ducts is getting louder, closer, faster. There's a whoomp as something explodes from the vent under my bed, and a scream rips from my throat just as the first long talons rip their way through the mattress.
This has been 7 Thumps, a fleeting word story. If you have an original short story you would like us to consider reading, please email it to thefleetingword@gmail.com.